And when we understand God's calendar and we begin to line up with His calendar, there is progression. Raise your hand. Say, I have to progress.
I have to progress.
I have to move forward.
I have to move forward.
I have to advance.
I have to advance.
So there is progression, and I show this each month so it can be in your spirit to know I need to be progressing.
Amen.
I need to be advancing. Say advancing.
Advancing.
I must advance. I must increase. And it causes us to evaluate where we are and what is it that we need to work on. So in the month of awe, one of the things that is so important, we must hear. We must hear. This month deals with our hearing. We must become very sensitive in our spirit on what we are hearing. We have to become very sensitive in our spirit to know the Most High's voice. We must know His voice. We must become sensitive in our spirit to know. In other words, sometimes He speaks a small, still voice. He speaks through His word. He speaks prophetically. He speaks through someone else. He speaks to our spirit. Put your hands on your spirit. It's going to cause us to be sensitive to know when He's talking. He might speak through a billboard.
Right.
He might speak through children. We have to be sensitive to know what God is saying. So when we understand God's calendar, it also keeps us not only progressing, but it keeps us in a cycle of blessing. It causes us to increase. There is a cycle of blessing. And it takes the stress out of it. Raise your hand. So there's no more stress.
There's no more stress.
Say it's ease.
It's ease.
When we celebrate and we understand God's calendar, it also lets us know what God is doing. We also know what the enemy is doing. We know that there is a real adversary, but greater is He that's in us than he that's in this world. So in this time of hearing, you will get a strategy. He'll give you a plan because the heavens open. There is revelation. In other words, God gives us insight. He illuminates us. All of a sudden, we really understand where we are. It puts us in alignment. And when we talk about alignment, we're talking about a straight line. The Hebraic calendar, God's calendar, puts us in a straight line. It aligns us up with the Most High. It positions us. Say position. It positions us to hear what the heavens are saying. So here, because it's a time of hearing, there is a strategy that God wants to release to you about your destiny. He wants to release to you concerning your destiny, your purpose, your giftings. He wants to talk to you about you. Much of the body of Christ now is sitting passively by, waiting for the pastors, the apostles, and everybody else to do it for them. Well, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you are it.
You are it.
When you are advancing, especially as we celebrate each month, as the turn of the month begins, it calls us to be above. It causes us to be above the demonic clouds. Say, I gotta be above. We have been really fighting at ground level, but those days are out. Say it's out.
It's out.
So when we talk about alignment, we're talking about now there is a straight connection from God to us. It's a straight connection from heaven to us, from the throne to us. Say, I gotta hear. Say, there's an alignment. There is an alignment that causes us to know what the heavens are saying. But not only that, it keeps us above the demonic cloud. And if that is the case, it let us know the plans of the enemy. The plans of the enemy is revealed. Because if we're hearing, God is going to let us know where the enemy is. If we are hearing, He'll show us the enemy. If we're hearing, that means we are in relationship with Him. We are seeking His face. Yes. And as we seek His face, He's going to open up the heavens. He's going to show us something. And write this down really big. If the Lord shows you your enemy, you have power over it. Amen. If He shows you where the enemy is, you have power over it. We've been talking about gaining revelation and how to birth your prophetic word. That's going to cause us to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. It's going to cause us to be very sensitive in our spirit. Say, I got to be sensitive. Say, I got to be sensitive. It's going to cause you to walk above the demonic cloud. Because greater is He that's in you than he that's in this world. Touch your brothers. Say, greater is He.
Greater is He
that is in me.
that is in me.
Greater is He.
Greater is He
that's in me.
that's in me.
Greater is He.
Greater is He
that's in me.
that's in me.
Than he.
Than he
that's in this world.
that's in this
You're
world.
no longer just fighting the win anymore. You're fighting from another place. You're fighting from the throne. You're fighting from your position, which is in heavenly places. Say, victory is my position.
Victory is my position.
I am positioned in victory.
In victory.
So what happens, God will show you where your enemy is, but we have to hear. But also He's going to cause you to see. Put your hands on your eyes. Say, today is the day.
Today is the day.
I must see.
I must see.
In this new dimension.
In this new dimension.
I must see.
I must see.
This new dimension.
This new dimension.
Of glory.
Of glory.
I must see.
I must see.
You have to see, because if you hear, you're going to see. If you hear, you're going to see. But when you hear, you got to move out. So if we're going to birth our prophetic destiny, or we're going to birth the prophetic word that's over us, what is it going to take? For us to be sensitive to know what prophetic word is trying to manifest. Because the enemy will keep your eyes blinded. It will bring so many distractions where you can't see. Come on, blow. Let the wind of the Holy Ghost blow away every distraction. You have the power. Who have the power? You have the power. If you don't use your power, all of hell will know it. And all of hell will use it against you. You have to be the one to move out in the things of God. You have to own it. So I gotta own it. You gotta own it to be a daughter. You gotta own it to be a son. You gotta own it to walk in power. Say, I'm the one.
I'm the one.
Say, I'm it.
I'm it.
He's in me.
He's in me.
You have to know God is in you, and the power of God will force you to know Him more. is seen or the power works through you, every time you see demonstration, guess what? He's forcing you to see him.
Yes.
He's forcing you to know him. He's forcing you to honor him.
Yes.
He's forcing you to glorify him. And so we have to be the ones. Say, I got to be the ones. But you got to have insight. It's not religion. You're spiritual beings. This is the month of all we have to hear. But it's also the month that you have to understand there is a next level. It's a time to go to the next level, a time to reap what you sow. Your decisions must be based on the word of the Lord and obedience. Obedience is key this month. It goes along with your decision of what you have heard. So when God tells you something, it's going to be bigger than you. It's going to be more than you. It's going to seem impossible. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you must understand, God deals in the possibilities. So when he shows you something so big, so great, don't shake your head and say, no, they ain't happening, they ain't got no resources, they ain't got this, they ain't got that. You talk your own self out of the blessing. How? Because of your words. If you don't say it, you don't thunk it up. Put your hands on your head. Say head. Quit thunking stuff up. That's what Lee the Beaver said. Nobody y'all know about that. They got stuck up in the tree. When Larry Haskell. Was it Eddie Haskell? Eddie. Well, I say Larry? Both of them. And so the standards come out there and like, what happened? How did y'all get up there? And Beaver said, Larry thunked it up, Miss Landers. Y'all have nobody.